Thanks for joining us. For the city of Los Angeles, a third day of tension and violence. As night approaches, police and National Guard units are out in force. Federal troops are on standby. Violence in the city appeared to die down a bit today, but the toll is obvious. 37 people dead, more than 1,300 injured, more than 4,000 arrested. Damage estimate, $200 million and rising. 4,000 National Guard troops have joined the contingent of police and California Highway Patrol officers on the streets. More are on the way. A few hours ago, the man who's become the unwilling symbol of this outbreak of violence decided it was time to speak out. Rodney King appealed for peace.
I just want to say, you know, can we all get along? Can we get along? Can we stop making it horrible for the older people and the kids? And I mean, we've got enough smog here in Los Angeles, let alone to deal with the setting these fires and things. It's just not right. It's not right, and it's not gonna change anything. We'll get our justice. They've won the battle, but they haven't won the war. We'll have our day in court, and that's all we want. And just I love, you know, I'm neutral. I love people of color. You know, I'm not like they picking me out to be. We've got to quit. We've got to quit. You know, after all, I mean, I can understand the first upset for the first 2 hours after the verdict, but to keep going on like this, and to see the security guard shot on the ground, it's just not right. It's just not right, because those people will never go home to their families again. And I mean, please, we can get along here. We all can get along. We just gotta, you know. I mean, we're all stuck here for a while. Let's try to work it out. Let's try to beat it. You know, let's try and work it out.
King's attorney says King wanted to come forward sooner, but did not because he feared for his safety and the safety of others.
Los Angeles remains under a dusk-to-dawn curfew, and dusk is only a few hours away. CNN's Greg Lamont joins us now live to tell us what's been happening and what we might expect tonight. Greg?
Well, it's been a long, hot day for thousands of residents of South Central Los Angeles. Because mail delivery has been suspended to some of the more dangerous parts of South Central LA, residents were forced to line up at local post offices. Today is the day that government checks, including Social Security, disability, and welfare checks, are sent out. Because the crowds, which lined several city blocks, were so large, dozens of Los Angeles police and sheriff's deputies were deployed here to maintain calm. The post office is staying open to make sure that these people get their checks on time. On time is not what's happening at Los Angeles International Airport. Airlines are continuing to cancel flights to LAX. Visibility has been reduced by the smoke from fires, and so runway approaches are being limited. Many airlines report up to 50% of the flights have been canceled to LA, and those that do land here suffer long delays. The situation has had a domino effect on airports throughout the country. Today in Los Angeles, there was overall calm, limited looting and arson, but over the last couple of days, the rioting has certainly left its scars on this community. CNN's Robert Vito takes a look at the impact on one family.
The South Central Los Angeles neighborhood where Susan and Roger Cortez live with their 2 children never was good. Now, because of the violence of the past few days, it's a wreck.
It looks like Vietnam. That's exactly like it was here, a battlefield.
For the first time since the disturbances broke out, the family felt safe enough Friday to open their blinds and windows. But where to get food is now their biggest problem.
I see what you mean by the smell. It's just everything is...
It's horrible.
The power in their rented home has been off since the violence started. Most of the food has spoiled. They've been surviving on some canned goods. To get a hot breakfast, the family went to a Red Cross shelter a mile away. They waited for 2 hours, but food never arrived. The Red Cross said the problem was they couldn't get a police escort to bring food in. The Cortez family went back home to clean the refrigerator and figure out what to do next. Her oldest asked if he could have one of the last remaining cans of soft drink. The Cortezes heard about one grocery store in the area that might be open, but they decided not to go because they were frightened that long lines and frustration might lead to violence.
Eventually people are going to turn on each other. That's the ultimate thing that's going to happen. So we're just going to go to wherever we can find food.
But she wasn't sure where. Just about everyone in this neighborhood is worried about what will happen next. As for the Cortez family, they know it won't get better anytime soon. Evidence of a damaged neighborhood appeared down the street, where a dozen or so police officers wearing riot gear stopped people who were taking merchandise out of a store. But the cops determined they weren't looters, but the owner of the store and helpers trying to salvage what they could from the store that was burned and looted the night before. Susan Cortez is a medical clerk. Roger Cortez, a truck driver. They're saving what they can, and they hope that soon they'll have enough money to leave. Robert Vito's CNN, Los Angeles.
Well, the day here is winding to a close. The dusk to dawn curfew remains in effect, and now that greater forces have been mobilized, hopefully this evening will be a calm one, because this city has certainly seen its share of violence, enough for a lifetime. Susan?
Greg, you mentioned the greater forces. U.S. military troops, regular Army and Marines have been ordered to Los Angeles, but military leaders don't really want them used for quelling civil disturbances like this one. They're hoping that the show of force will be enough. When you talk to the police officers on the streets, what are they saying about these extra troops coming to the city?
They will take any extra help that they can get, especially after the first couple of days. Yesterday afternoon, we met up with some policemen, and they were complaining about why the National Guard wasn't deployed in the afternoon when they thought that they could best use them. This is when, at the height of the looting. Last night, the National Guard troops were deployed, and what that allows the police to do is able to move into neighborhoods and make arrests for looting and for those breaking the curfew, while the National Guard sets up perimeters of protection for the police.
Do they think that they will need thousands more of extra troops?
Based on the kind of violence that was going on yesterday, the kind that I saw, the L.A. Police Department is highly outnumbered, and I think that to restore calm and to make it last, they realize that they're going to need all the help they can get from the military and the National Guard.
What are the police officers that you've talked to saying about tonight? Again, the curfew goes into effect in a couple of hours. I'm not asking you to speculate, but if you could say what other people have told you, do they think it'll stay quiet tonight, or will it heat up yet again? It's a Friday night, not a work day.
It is a Friday night. It might have been worse, or we would anticipate a worse situation, but school had been out for the last couple of days, so that's not a new element that would be put into all this. But some people have told us that they are afraid that this thing could turn really deadly, because many gun shops and sporting goods stores were looted, and all of the guns and ammunition were stolen. And so a lot of folks think that because it's a Friday night, if you introduce alcohol into any kinds of situation with the guns involved, it could become very volatile.
Thank you. CNN's Greg Lamont keeping us up to date with the latest from the streets of Los Angeles. Our extended coverage of the troubles in L.A. and around the nation will continue right after this.